kind of middle way stuff, actually, to me, it's not worthwhile if it doesn't have any sort of practical value. If it's all just talking and meditating and going out to the temple and having a nice weekend and all this stuff, then it's not really that valuable. And this is why I don't find most philosophy to be very interesting, because it just seems like a lot of hot air. Whereas what you do in Zazen actually has some practical kind of use to it, which I like. Yes.
Do you have the same effect then with the more positive emotions in life?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
the price you have to pay.
I don't know. I don't know if it's a price you have to pay, because a lot of that very up stuff. It's like a roller coaster. You're gonna go up, 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 and then you're gonna go, like that. It never. I mean, this is kind of sad to say, but there's never this pure up that we always kind of imagine there is. There's always a sort of a downside, and when you go kind of up that far and have this great, exciting time, it's only in contrast to something very miserable. But if you can stay in that middle state, in that middle ground between getting very excited and very depressed, it's actually a lot better. It truly is, because rather than pouring all this happiness into one moment, it's actually spread out, and what that evenness is a lot more pleasant than the sort of experiences we think of as being really pleasant or really exciting. Because you find after a while that boring things aren't boring anymore. Which is one thing I like about it, because you're doing the ultimate boring thing, doing this Zazen practice. And once you've done it and kind of been there and made it a regular sort of part of your life, then sitting around waiting for a bus can be a really interesting thing, which is nice, because you're not just like wafting off going, God damn it, I wish I wasn't interested, waiting for this bus, I wish I was already there, or whatever. You can kind of find the joy in doing that. And you can kind of find the joy in doing things which are unpleasant, too. You can go, well, it's like this, I think I did write this one up, which I'm about to say somewhere. There's a Star Trek episode in which, you guys, if you don't know Star Trek, there's a character called Data, who's an android character on Star Trek, and he has no emotions. That's the big part of his character, and they insert something that makes him have emotions, and their idea of what constitutes emotions is kind of funny. But anyway, there's a scene where after he's done this, Data gets he goes to some bar and orders a drink, because he can drink just like a human being. And he drinks this drink and he goes, "This is terrible, I hate this. Give me another one." Because he's never hated anything before, and it's so exciting to be able to, to hate the taste of this drink, so he goes and drinks another one. So, even things like that become kind of interesting. There's a why can't I think of the name of it? But anyway, there's a very famous Zen poem, which, if I say the first line, probably somebody will know the name of it. I should know the name of it. But the first line is, following the Buddha's way is not difficult, just avoid picking and choosing, or just avoid preference. Which means that if you this thing of following the Buddha's way sounds very mystical and exciting or whatever, I don't know. But following the Buddha's way just means, being yourself and being what you are and being where you are at every moment. And it's easy to do if you just avoid preference, which means if you just stay with whatever happens and avoid trying to be somewhere else, or avoid wishing you were somewhere else. When you can wish you were somewhere else, that thought will pop into your mind from time to time, but it really doesn't matter. You don't need to pay attention to that. I wish I wasn't giving this lecture, but here I am. Not really. But when you find yourself in that situation, if you avoid preference, if you avoid giving in to worrying about what it would be like if this was different from what it was, you can have the experience much better. I mean, I did my kidney stone experience, which I probably talked about, which I'm 42 years old. I've had 4 kidney stones in my life. It's really way too many, which is why I'm drinking water constantly. Stuff now, but I had a kidney stone a few years ago, which I'll get really graphic and gross here. One of the things I learned when you're having your wiring of your nerves above and below your waist is a bit different. The things above your waist are wired very precisely, so you can tell, if somebody touches this finger, you can feel it there, and so on. But everything below is a little less finessed. So a lot of times when you have a kidney stone, you don't feel it in your kidney. And in this particular instance, I did not feel it there. I felt as if, and I'm not exaggerating, just as if somebody had taken a hammer and smashed me in the tackle box. I mean, really, really that painful. And I thought, something had happened, and we called the hospital, and they said, well, maybe what happened is you had they call torsion testicle, which will suddenly twist for no apparent reason. It happens to people. And it can be a fairly dangerous thing if you enjoy having testicles, because it can mean they have to remove it, because all the blood supply gets go gangrenous, and all this stuff. And, I went to the hospital with this, and they're monitoring me. So the thing is, because they thought I might have to have surgery, if you're in the hospital with a kidney stone, normally they'll give you some kind of pain killers, because just about the only thing you can do with a kidney stone is treat it with painkillers and wait till it passes. I mean, there's certain surgical ways you can remove it, but mainly they try to avoid that. But what had happened is, since they thought they might have to do surgery, they wouldn't give me any medicine at all, nothing. So I'm just in unbelievable pain and not able to take any medicine. But this was another instance where I found that the practice had been practical, because I realized that if I stayed with the pain rather than trying to avoid it, which is your habitual reaction, is to be in pain and go, oh my God, I wish I wasn't in this terrible pain, and try to think of anything else but the pain. Instead of doing that, I decided to just face right into it and go, and just go, all right, if I'm going to feel this pain, I'm going to feel all of this pain right now. And I found that it was better somehow. I don't know, you can't really measure physical pain in any practical way, objective way. So I don't know if I could say the pain actually got any better, but as long as I kind of faced into it rather than avoiding it, it could only be as bad as it was. It couldn't be as bad as I imagined it was, which there's a difference. And trying to think of I wish this would be done wasn't helping anything. I just you just face right into it, and that's also useful and practical. It's all personal stories today.
Does it balance okay with other people who are probably with a drama.